Am I the a-hole for telling the stylist to cut my girl's hair however they want and to stop asking me if I'm okay with it? My girls are 14 and 17. They both have short hair. The 14-year-old has half her head shaved as an undercut hand. The 17 is always doing weird things with her hair. Frankly, I don't care what they do with their hair, it's hair, it grows back and it's on their head, not mine. So my 14-year-old said she needed a haircut as her hair had grown out for a few months. I took her to chain salon. As I was pulling in, my 17-year-old pulled in bedside me by surprise. She also needed a haircut. I said, just come on and I'll pay for it. The 14-year-old told them what she wanted and showed them a picture. They turned to me and asked if I was okay with it. I said whatever she wants I'm fine with. They cut it and asked if I was okay with it. I asked my daughter if she liked it. She said she wanted it shorter. They asked me what I thought. I told them to please cut another 2 inches off and shave the undercut shorter. They tried to argue that it looked more feminine at the length it was at. I said if she wants it shorter then do what she asks. They did. She loves it. My 17-year-old was next and showed them a picture of some weird idea she had. They again asked if I was okay with it. I was annoyed at this point and said she is 17, if she wants a buzz cut give it to her, if she wants some anime hairstyles go for it, but quit asking me. I already said let them have whatever they want, it is their hair. The stylist looked visibly upset and my youngest said I was being rude. But I was just done with them asking me if what they wanted was okay, when I had already said more than once that they could have whatever style or cut they wanted. So am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for saying that I don't want an expensive tray stolen at a wedding? My boyfriend, 30M, and I, 30F, were invited to his friend's wedding. I've met the bride and groom a few times, he has known them for decades. There is a local tradition for each guest to bring a dozen cookies to the wedding, then at the wedding everybody's cookies are displayed together to make a cookie table. We wanted to participate, so we baked cookies the night before. I have a very beautiful and expensive tea tray. Boyfriend suggested that I use it to display the cookies. I said no, it's a 300-person wedding, I don't want some auntie accidentally taking it home with her. Boyfriend seemed fine with this. We found a simple bowl that was perfectly appropriate for the occasion, and used that to display the cookies. After the wedding, as we were preparing to leave and I went to retrieve my bowl, boyfriend told the newlyweds that I didn't want to use my tea tray because I thought one of their guests might steal it. I tried to backtrack by saying that I just didn't want it to get misplaced or damaged, but he called me out on lying. The newlyweds said something about everyone there being friends and family. It was very awkward and we left shortly. I am angry because I told him that in confidence and he should have known better than to repeat that to his friends, even though they were very close. Am I the a-hole for changing my middle name to what my birth name was supposed to be? I was adopted at birth. My adoptive parents and I have a good relationship now, but it was rocky for a few years there. They didn't tell me I was adopted and I found out in what I consider the worst way when I was 16, a spiteful relative told me. Not out for my best interest, but they got mad at my mom and was trying to ruin her life. It caused a huge fight within the family and everyone focused on the drama rather than my entire life crumbling. I finally ended up in therapy at 18 and have been attending on and off for the past 10 years, currently on. I didn't speak to my parents from the time I was 18 until I was 23. They acted like I was insane for being upset about all this. Eventually, they apologized and began going to therapy themselves. We've slowly rebuilt our relationship. They have since accepted my search for my bio family and upon finding my bio mom, have been amazing with her. My bio mom was coerced into giving me up. She hadn't wanted to but her family all but forced her. She had no support. My parents didn't know this part but purposefully chose a private adoption so I'd never know I was adopted. My bio mom and I have known each other for 4 years now. She is an amazing, kind and generous woman who is just like me. I spent so long feeling unseen and different. She was like completing a puzzle. My bio dad died when I was 12 and it's devastating to know I'll never meet him. He didn't want to give me up either but they were very young and again, no support. My bio mom told me she had named me Summer, but my adoptive parents changed it. She understood but I could tell the name meant a lot to her. I recently got married and I'm changing my last name. I decided since I'm changing my last name, I'll change my middle name too. It's got no sentimental meaning versus summer, which does to my bio mom as it's her favorite season and I was born on the first day of summer. My bio mom cried tears of joy when I told her. She is so touched. My adoptive parents are pissed off. They say that I have erased them. I kept my first name that they gave me. They say if I had to I should have just added Summer to my name. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for kicking my girlfriend out in the middle of her capstone project for graduate school, jeopardizing the future of her degree? I, 21M, am at Win. We can call my brother Matthew for anonymity's sake. To get ahead of some of the most commonly asked questions, we're identical. We do things in sync sometimes, but I don't know if it's any more common than two people who just spend a lot of time together and adopt each other's mannerisms. I would absolutely say that the twin intuition thing is real. We have 2 older brothers and I love them, but I'm not as close to them as I am Matthew. We have never been away from each other for longer than maybe 3 days. We don't technically live together but we stay in the same apartment building for college and often just fall asleep at each other's places. My girlfriend, 24F, and I have been long distance for basically our entire relationship. I'm busy with school and the music me and Matthew work on together. She lives about 2 hours away and is busy with her job and her grad program. To make a long, somewhat confusing explanation short, she's staying with me for the summer, working shorter hours remotely while she fulfills an in-person grad school requirement at the university I currently attend. Most of her grad program has been online, this section is not. It's her capstone project and doing it during the summer basically means she's doing it in double time, so she really has to buckle down and work. I get that. Still, the way she's been treating my brother isn't cool with me. She often rolls her eyes and shuts herself in our guest bedroom when she comes home and sees that he's over. We smoke together and fuck around on guitars together while we work on music, things she used to be fond of but now seems to hate. The final straw came last week when I got a phone call while I was out of her freaking out. She had refused to let my brother in the apartment, so he used the key I had given him, and she lost it. She said her boundaries weren't being respected and that I needed to kick him out. Instead, I told her she needs to leave. She's furious, saying she can't find somewhere else to stay on such short notice and I'm fucking up the most important class of her life, saying I'm too codependent on my brother, and that I should have never told her she could stay when I knew she needed to work and I wasn't allowing her to do so. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not wanting to use my college fund to pay for my brother's treatment? My parents divorced when I was about 7 because my dad had admitted to having an affair. My mom and I moved out of our house and into an apartment while my dad immediately moved his mistress into our house because she was pregnant with my twin brothers. My mom was devastated, but she quickly picked herself up for us. She went back to school and as a result, she continued climbing up in her career. My mom adjusted better to going from a double-income household to a single income and was able to contribute a substantial amount of money to my college fund. My dad on the other hand had a harder time as he now has to support a family of 4, sometimes 5 on a single income as his wife is a som. My dad did not have much disposable income and so did not contribute as much to the fund. I'm going to finish school soon and I have a good shot at getting into my first choices of college. Unfortunately my brother, 10M, was diagnosed with a kidney disease which has progressed to where he needs to be on dialysis. My dad is drowning in medical debt, so my mom agreed he no longer needed to pay child support. The specialist had suggested a different treatment for my brother as most other treatments didn't help or stopped working and they are running out of options short of a transplant, not doable at this time. This treatment is not covered by insurance and costs a lot. My dad can't take out a loan due to debt. Dad and his wife sat me down when I was over and asked if I would be willing to let them borrow my college fund to pay off my brother's treatment. They offered to pay the money back, but I knew they wouldn't be able to. I really don't want to give them the money because I know if I don't get any scholarships I wouldn't be able to go to the college I want to without going into debt myself. My future would be at risk and I know my dad wouldn't help if I needed it. In addition, the money technically belongs to my mom. I can't just give it away and I know she would refuse to give them the money. My dad and his wife are furious at both my mom and I and is trying to guilt me into it. I do feel terrible for my little brother. Am I the a-hole?